be kind, and I will tear out with my bare hands the illusion of love that has made you blind. 'Cause it isn't worth it to hear them chant your name. And if I let you go under, I have only myself to blame. 'Cause they don't care about you, and they don't care about you. Yeah, they don't care about you. Dooley Foley is a very young boy. I am the man who's gonna save your life.
time is the right time. that hope and the lights are shining bright, so bright. This crowd is on fire, but the sound is a million miles away. Away from me. This world is a door, you are the lock, my heart is the key, set me free. Then should I be lost, and I shall be found, and I shall be lifted so high off the ground, and fall with the force so true and profound, and it will be over, and it will be worth it. No time is the right time. All your hope and your heart is mine to take, and I'll take one. I can see your desire, enshrouded by selfless, mindless bravery. Don't be brave. I gave you the choice, you wouldn't walk, and I'm not to blame. Know my name, and you shall be lost by darkness profound, and you shall be lifted so high off the ground, and fall with a force true and profound, and it will be over, yeah, yeah, and you shall be lost by darkness profound, then you shall be lifted so high off the ground, and fall with a force so true and profound, and now that it's over, build the work.
Hey John Morrison, this is Melina. I know that you've seen me getting pretty obscene with all the boys in the back and all your bros. Baby, you knows I ain't no hose, that's just how it goes. So you need to know what I've been doing, you need to know who I've been screwing. So I wrote you a song, I hope it isn't wrong. You know it's kinda gross, but here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I slept with Batista. We had a three-way with a stranger because he did not want to walk alone inside my pit of danger. Yeah, he really was an animal, and I was in his jaws. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, he's got an infinite rematch clause. Yeah, I slept with John Cena, and it made me turn out the light. I slept with Rey Mysterio, and we 619. I slept with Undertaker, they made me call him Psycho 6. was pretty weird. Yeah, I used to do Hulk Hogan, but then he crossed the line, and I did it with St. once, but then he dropped me on my spine. I slept with Alex Riley, and then I held him while he sobbed, and I hooked up with Triple H, so you know I was doing the job. Yeah, I also slept with Mike Knox. Did you know that he had two cocks, one on his body and one on his beard? It was pretty weird, but I went with it. Don't cry, Johnny, don't cry. I never meant to make you feel so bad. I still love you, kinda. Just let me know. Hey, that's my lunch. Give it back. Don't eat it.
Put on some pants and a purple shirt. Fighting injustice, making it hurt. No respect for those with no respect for the law. David Otunga, attorney at Raw. You got a bow tie. You got a bow tie. You got a bow tie. Objection! Trim your goatee and cut your hair. Hey, injustice, you better beware. Write a bad injunction that'll leave one in awe. David Otunga, attorney at Raw. You got a bow tie. Bow tie. You got a bow tie. Objection! If you're having legal trouble, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but the law ain't one. David Otunga, attorney at Raw. 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 Objection.
Hello, kids. My name is Super Blizzard. I was brought before you here today to help instruct you in the fine art of language, or, to be more precise, spelling. I'm being assisted today by Mr. Damian Sandow on vocals. I'm going to play guitar. If there's no further questions, we can begin. All right. D is for deliberate speech, the pure and honest way, never speaking until you know exactly what to say. A is for appreciating all the finest arts, expressions of the human soul that warm our wanting hearts. M is for magnanimous and merciful the same, for every king that's worth his crown has mercy to his name. I is for intelligence and sharpness of the mind, a quality divine assigned to all great men you'll find. E is for exuberance, for knowledge newly found, for no great journey ever started staring at the ground. N is for nyctophobia, the fear of darkness deep, why all great genius knows to keep a nightlight while you sleep. Very good. That concludes the first half of our lesson. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
I see there's no questions, so if you will so oblige me, we shall move on to the second half of our lesson. Silence, please. Mr. Sandow. S is for sympathy, a most important trait. To understand your fellow man is to be truly great. A is for accomplishment and a healthy sense of pride, for even the smallest of victories may fill you up inside. N is for nightlight. I know I'm repeating myself, but I cannot stress enough how important nightlights are to the development of human genius. D is for demonstrative, with kindness and with love. With what we show, we shape the world that we are dreaming of. O is for oblivion, the great unknown abyss. This is exactly the kind of thing that makes having a nightlight an invaluable resource. W is for waking each and every lovely day in a world of possibilities where genius comes to play. Now, that concludes our lesson. If you have any questions for me or Mr. Sandow, now would be the appropriate time.
Why is he wearing a bathrobe?
Yeah, we're finished here.
Somebody gonna learn the alphabet. Somebody gonna learn some English. Somebody gonna learn the alphabet. Somebody gonna learn some English.
Once upon a time, in the hills of Ireland, there was born a child so white, with the hair of a firebrand. And as he grew older, he was a fighter, and he fought against injustice and lies. And his voice could be heard on every battlefield, and one word echoed up into the skies. He is a man from the cross on his chest to the shine on his hide. It's time to ride. When he came to the shores of America, he came as a knight for Ireland's pride. And he fell into evil, but the love of his people reawakened the hero inside. And now they are chanting his name on every battlefield, and every battle he fights for their sake. Shining a burning light on the shadows of evil, leaving only one word in his wake. He is a man from the cross on his chest to the shine on his hide. It's time to ride.
Why? Hey, Omega.
Yes, Gunner.
So, tell me something again. How is walking around with stolen property somewhere in the middle of, the Big Easy, How do you not get stopped? Because it's obviously stolen property.
Well, isn't it the most corrupt city in America?
Technically speaking, but if I don't know, man. It was just weird because it's just he's already stealing the show. Sorry, Ziggler. Your gimmick just got robbed. Let's start the show. Hello everybody and welcome to episode number 164 of Wooo Serious. My name is Gunnar, that's Omega BR.
There's nothing I like better than going to the Big Easy, aka my rumpus room.
If you haven't seen the Omega Rumpus Room, you just haven't lived. The generally confused one over there, who runs the buttons, is Yankum.
See, you said the Big Easy, and I thought we were talking about Netjester's mom.
Well, that joke was so bad, I thought Netjester said it himself.
Oh, come on, you don't have to hurt my feelings.
For those.
Exactly. Alright, let's get started here with the news.
Yeah,
Sammy Z.
introductions be damned.
Well, hey, I tried introducing you, and you're not taking the bait.
Of course I'm not taking the bait. If I took the bait, I'd be a fish. And if I'd be a fish, I'd be a guppy. And if I'd be a guppy, there's a Scott Steiner joke in there somewhere, which I completely forgot.
Shut up, you're just a hobbit. Kanye West is married to you. You're welcome.
Ooh.
Sami Zayn is expected to be out until October following shoulder surgery. WWE is pushing hard for the Samoa Joe tag match, where he will team with AJ Styles to face Daniels and pushing hard for the Samoa Joe tag match, and he will team with AJ Styles to face with Daniels and Kazarian at the ROH event in New York to be taped for television. Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Did I miss a bunch of shit?
Right. They're also unhappy about the ROH Kevin Steen figure, which has created a general feeling that WWE needs to sign potential talents before they make it to ROH and TNA and lock them into merchandise deals. Names that reached WWE tryouts were said to be Gargano, Busick, Taylor, Gulak, former MMA fighter Matt Riddle, Pro Wrestling Noah talents Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste, Jimmy Preston, Deanna Dahlgren, Nikki Galladay, Giselle Shaw, Taylor Hendricks, yeah, Athena, and Rosie Lotta Love / Andrea, who's gotten a lot better. Jessica Havoc was also there, reportedly impressing officials, although she may have gotten in hot water after several racist tweets from 2011 and 2012 were brought to light, which the Center reportedly found out while she was in the ring. Embarrassing.
Fuck yeah, sexy Chucky T in WWE. I would be so fucking stoked, and then they'd waste them, and I'd be depressed.
Aren't you already?
Depression.
Well, I mean, more depressed.
It's quite a few big names, notable names, noticeable names. I think they're really kind of pushing this idea that NXT or developmental is a place for some of these people to go, even if they don't work out. It is kind of, in the past, it really felt like their recruits were supposed to be people that WWE could build from the ground up, nobody's turned into stars, that kind of thing. Whereas now we've got a lot of people who are notable, have a fan base, have kind of pre-built. I'm sure they still have that idea of people having the quote-unquote bad habits on the independent scene and everything. They'll still learn in WWE style, of course, but it does seem like they fully now realize and have witnessed the impact that hiring these people can have.
The problem I'm finding here is the fact that it's the question of how soon do you bring someone in from the indies. Now everybody has their own path, and you can tell that by watching everybody's story. But guys like Chuck Taylor, who's been on the independent circuit for 10 years plus, Johnny Gargano, who's just got started in 2008 or something like that. I mean, and other guys on there who have been in the business for 10 plus years before even stepping into a WWE tryouting, they're the talent that they were normally picking from, and now you want to pick from before that? I don't see the sense in that, because if you're just having other territories and places develop these people, and you're competing for talent from the same pool, why aren't you just trying to offer the better services and go the route which would, find you morally superior, essentially? Why would you waste your time looking beyond the potential? And I understand that, there's some people that argue that this isn't looking far enough. But at the same time, it's like you only have a certain amount of resources, and you should only be picking the creme de la creme. Investing more time and money into a system that's already not making you money, which is completely, but even though it's not making you money, it's understood that it's not going to make you money. It's just, to me, it seems that it's a bigger problem in philosophy as opposed to finding talent.
Well, of course, in one way or another, this has, we want to hope that sometime in the future, Trips will take over and make everything, shiny and new and interesting and respectable. But you still have Vincent Kennedy McMahon's fingerprints over a hell of a lot of things in the WWE. That's not going to change. And, this just smacks of another Vince, I want to get the most, and it's a typical business philosophy. I'm not shouting down capitalism or anything like that for this, but this is Vince once again saying to people, I will pay you the least amount of money for the more amount of talent and services I can get. And, what's that thing down in Florida? I forget. No, that's Vince saying that, not me.
Right.
I tend to think that for every Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe that Triple H embraces, there's going to be other people that he does not. And that's just the nature of the business and the nature of humanity and everything. But, I think he's done good work with NXT, but doesn't necessarily make up for... Well, I'm getting off topic. As far as that Havoc thing is concerned, my first reaction was that it was, having read the tweets and everything, it was just stupidity on her part. It was pretty ridiculous. She said she was new to social media. It was more talking amongst friends, and which I can buy, I guess. I'm not gonna say she shouldn't get a contract, this and that, but I will say that more and more it seems like for every young wrestler who learned from the veterans to not Duplo and work to the point of being crippled, there are more and more young wrestlers who spout off at the mouth and just don't realize the impact that it has on today's business. Because for as much of a shyster as a lot of these people are, doing the McMahons, loose lips sink ships, so to speak.
Shall we move on?
Let's move along.
Well, speaking of Mr. McMahon, he was reportedly not happy about the end of the Austin podcast with Paul Heyman, where they appeared to hype up a potential WrestleMania 22 match between Austin and Lesnar, something that is apparently not happening. Austin, in fact, made it clear that he was not building to a match. He was simply being in character due to the situation. There are rumors that this year's Slammy Awards will actually be a standalone network special, similar to the Hall of Fame has been in recent years.
That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, of course, that's how it was back in the old day. There are also rumors that WWE might get a space in City Walk in Orlando, Universal City Walk, possibly a Hall of Fame-themed restaurant now that the NBA attraction is no longer there. There were fan surveys put out polling interest on a Performance Center fantasy camp where fans would sign a mock contract, listen in on promo classes, have lunch with champions, tour autographs, that whole schmear. And another survey was put out, polling interest on the return of wrestling-themed cruises, similar to the WCW Bruise Cruise and WWF Wrestle Vessel of the 90s.
Holy fuck, did we miss out on the best name for our podcast ever. We totally should have been called Wrestle Vessel.
Wrestle Vessel? Why would we be called Wrestle Vessel?
I think somebody's projecting, but let's move on.
I really hope they make the Slammies a separate show, put it on the network, and stop, because it's not good on Raw. I think as its own standalone thing, where people actually show up, like in tuxes and stuff, would be a lot better.
Go ahead.
When it's on Raw, it's like everything else on Raw, which is it's sort of a means to an end. It's not really about the awards themselves. It's just kind of filler in between the matches that don't really mean much in between the main event segments, the top of the hour segments.
It don't mean much. Yeah, basically. And also, I hope they get rid of some of the shittier categories like Raw Moment of the Year and that kind of idiocy. If you want to give away like a funny comedy thing, sure, but can we call it something else?
Well, I know I'm going to be the odd man out here, but in semi-defense of the Raw Slammies, I guess they are forgettable, aren't they? The original Slammies, back when they were actual award show, the only thing I significantly remember from the original Slammies is that one song that Todd Pettengill did. If you remember that name, good luck for you. And when he pretty much insulted China in front of a room full of people and asked where her willy was, and that was the most remarkable or memory-inducing thing I can remember from the Slammies. So if they went back to the tuxedo-ish event, I'm not sure they'd be any better than a Raw.
Well, no, because you're forgetting the most awesome Slammy events, which was Owen stealing Slammies and going up on stage and accepting other people's Slammies.
Oh, now I remember that. Oh, yeah.
Just saying, if he were still alive, he would probably still be doing that every year.
Oh, Lord, yes. That reminds me.
Yeah.
I got it.
And it would not get old. That would not get old. Some things get old. That would not get old. I don't know. Maybe they'll... If they can have it as a separate thing, and Vince can leave it alone, and they can put a couple people in charge of it and just say, look, this is what you do this. We're not going to fuck with you, just get it done. Maybe it can be good. It hasn't been good for a few years now, though.
Well, again, the point of these things is to kind of progress storylines, and I mean, they had the King of the Ring recently, where Barrett won, and Barrett, now he's on the pre-show for Money in the Bank, like that means anything. So it's not just a matter of, situation, it's a matter of action. But the situation does kind of force, or help force action.
It just seems to me that it's strange that all of this, basically, that this show is going to get either spun off into obscurity, and we're going to have, only a couple of people watch it really at the end of the year, or you're going to keep it on Raw where no one cares about it anyway. So basically what you're telling me is that the Slammies just aren't a draw brother.
Well, I do think it goes back to that idea that the network needs more original programming, and Slammies, as a network exclusive, is one of those things.
It's a good idea. It's a really good idea. I've also got, what do you call it? I would go on a wrestling theme cruise. I'm just saying. I don't really go on cruises, but I would do that. And the fantasy camp thing seems funny. It just seems, like, how can I put this? I mean, that seems like something that they would do to be desperate, as opposed to doing something that would, keeping it a legitimate business. And I hear Jim Cornette now, all the way down there in Tennessee, having a hard time over reading that, because of the kayfabe and whatnot. So,
yeah.
Speaking of,
my thing is,
I get the last one. You guys have read the other ones. It's my turn.
Thing is, when you're on a wrestling cruise, does kayfabe keep up? Is everybody in character all the time? Are they secluded from the fans at some point?
I would pay for that.
I would pay a lot of money.
I would pay so much
a bunch
for
of the
that.
other wrestlers to stay in kayfabe and walk around the ship.
Especially Hogan. Hogan would be absolutely entertaining, in character the whole time. Shuffleboard at 4 o'clock, brother dude Jack. You better get down there. What you gonna do when Hulkamania goes beach volleyball on you? Yeah. It'd be fantastic. Anyway, speaking of fantastic, I don't know if this is fantastic news or not, but there's a rumor surfacing that WWE is in talks with WWN, the parent company of Evolve and Full Impact Pro, on possibly creating a new developmental league or iPay-per-view partnership. The National Wrestling Alliance will start NWA Classics on July 4th, a streaming subscription service that will feature over 800 hours of wrestling footage from the mid-1960s to the early 1980s, straight from the Paul Bosch video library. Rusev may be required to wear boots from now on due to his foot or ankle injury, and 2 TNA production workers have given notice to the company. Eric Tompkins, considered one of the better editors they had, and Simon Edwards, who has been with TNA almost 10 years. David Richards and Angelina Love are now officially married. What the hell? I can't think of there's not been that many barefoot wrestlers, but I don't remember them being any more prone to injury than anyone else.
This is true. I mean, just ask Snuka.
Well, I mean, the fact remains a boot is protection for your foot, so, if you land directly on just like shoes are protection for your feet, there's a reason we don't walk around in bare feet in general life.
It's so your foot doesn't get, stabbed through. I mean, as far as, kicking people and stuff, they're not actually kicking people as hard as they can. I don't really see... It doesn't seem like he'd be that much more prone to injury, and it's kind of taken away one of the things that separates him, I think. But maybe they'll give him some cool boots and tights and...
I don't think it would be big of a deal now that he's sort of past the Russian part, and he's kind of. I mean, it's almost beneficial that he got injured right after the Cena thing, because then that gives him some time to kind of, even though he's still been on TV, kind of gives him some time to kind of move past that, you know.
Absolutely. I'm kind of excited for the NWA Classics thing. I'll have to check that out for sure. It should be really cool to be able to go back and watch all that old footage from, the 60s and 70s and 80s. It's not going to be, the same as watching today's wrestling for sure, and that's probably a good thing.
Well, different is not always better, or different is not always worse. It's just different. I still, as much as I love National Wrestling Alliance, I still would give high teeth for WWE, who now owns this video library, to put out something along the lines of AWA, American Wrestling Alliance. That was one of my favorites growing up. Saturday nights, ESPN, AWA, and then right after Roller Derby. I mean, that was the Saturday Night of Champions right there.
Well, I've heard
see them coming out with that next year or something like that.
I've heard the reason the network doesn't have a lot of the older stuff is because they don't think it does very well, viewership-wise.
That's because they're idiots.
Well, to be fair, it probably doesn't compared to, the newer stuff.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you put the newer stuff on TV and then put the older stuff next to it, no, it's not going to get as much. You put it on the net, it's probably not going to get as much. But there's still a lot of people that want to see that, and it's not like people that want to see the old stuff are going to ignore the new stuff for the old stuff. They're going to watch both. So basically, they're just cutting their foot off to spite their face because, they don't want to do it. Wait, that's the wrong analogy. They're cutting their nose off to spite their face. They're cutting their foot off because they're fucking retarded, and they thought that would spite their face, failing miserably. That's what I was going for with that.
I was hoping you were going for something besides a coronary.
I'm just, if it doesn't sell well, it's not something profitable, and it's all on film, it's going to be a very long time until we see it. But that being said, with this NWA Classics coming out, I would imagine that something from that era, probably AWA, will come out at that point. And congratulations to Davey Richards and Angelina Love. Their baby will be an interesting creature. I will say that much.
Sorry.
So will Davey Richards? Do you think Angelina will tell the difference between him and Eddie Edwards? Do you think it's the one that she married? That's why she wants to tell the difference.
Right. Because she could fuck either one and have a baby, and who would know?
Well, I'm sure Davey can tell the difference between Angelina and the Batman villain Scarecrow.
You would hope so, but
he could try.
I'm still having a hard time myself, especially with this breathing thing too. Set nerve gas. 15-minute time limit. We're gonna do Money in the Bank predictions. Holy crap! This is another WWE pay-per-view already.
Do we have to?
Yep.
I mean, really, at this point.
Hey,
it's
a pay-per-view.
Well, I mean, look at this first match. It's R-Truth versus King Barrett in the pre-show. You've got the guy who won King of the Ring in the dark match versus R-Truth, who is basically just a comedy gimmick at this point. Why? Who cares?
Well, nobody. They just need a match for the pre-show. I'm guessing it'll be Barrett because he's one of those guys that wins the little matches to make it seem like he can win a bigger match, and then he doesn't. why don't we move on? How about Nikki Bella versus Paige for the Divas title? After they just kind of did it on Raw again, and they did Twin Magic again, and I guess the Bellas are playing heel again.
It's going to be the Bellas. Because there's no purpose in the division anymore until the four, until the four horsewomen come out.
They really.
I can't comprehend how it is that they're supposed to be able to be getting away with Twin Magic anymore. One has huge tits and the other doesn't. One has hair completely different than the other ones. Like, they don't even look the same anymore.
What's really funny is that New Day stole the gimmick.
Wait, what?
Huh?
Didn't New Day win a match recently where one of them rolled in and one of them rolled out?
Oh, yeah. So now we've got this gimmick going. Well, no, that one's fair because...
Because why? You're going to say it, aren't you?
Because Freebird rule.
Because Freebird, yeah, he got out of it that way. I mean,
what are you talking about? It's Freebird rule. Everyone knows that. They even shouted it out. Freebird rule. That's what they're going by. It's fair.
I tried making the joke on Twitter. Nobody retweeted it. I said, first the New Day, now Twin Magic in 2015. Man, all white women look alike. Nothing.
So let's move along. Right back in the big show for the IC title.
Hang on. I do want to say that I think Paige will utilize Twin Magic of her own, using either a current diva in a bad wig, or an NXT call-up. Maybe Charlotte. Well, no. Charlotte in a bad wig winning the match for Paige would be a pretty terrible way for her to debut. But
it'll be Santino Marella in a bad wig.
No. You guys got it all wrong. It's Shaytina. Think about it. That's not a fella, bro.
Okay. Let's really stop before we have to get into Jenner territory here.
All honkettes look alike,
So right back in Big Show, once again, who gives a fuck?
What?
Ryback wins. Ryback wins. Conquers the Big
Yeah.
Show. Congratulations.
I like the big guy. I like the big guy still, but
you almost said it too, and that was going to be funny.
You know what? I still like the Big Show. I think that he is a good person, and the stuff that he does for charity is fantastic. And I don't know that I've ever heard about him getting shitty to the fan or being a dick or anything like that. There probably are stories of it. I've never heard them, so I still like the show. Fuck you.
Points for that, but that's about it.
I think Big Show is a honky.
God damn it!
I don't know.
Did you hear me?
You started this. You started it. Can we talk about the tag match?
I really hope the PTP wins, because why not?
Oh yeah,
they deserve it.
It should have happened months ago. Quite frankly,
it should have happened the first time they were the primetime players.
Yes, that.
I can't wait. That's actually probably going to be a good match too. Sort of like the next match has the potential to be a good match, but it's hard to say. The ending's going to be a fucking schmoz fest, though. Got Cena and Owens.
I think Owens taps out to the STF.
Oh God, no! Please, not that. Anything but that.
I think it's going to happen is what I predicted originally for their first match, which is that Owens loses, but he does so on his terms, which is the sort of a no contest disqualification where he just, starts beating Cena with I almost said with a stick, but with a...
That's fine.
Yeah,
like a kendo
with a
stick or something.
There's
he just goes out, he steps outside the ring, and he fucking breaks a stick off a tree and just...
What's the rubber match? What's the third step?
Oh, some sort of no disqualification shit fest.
Is it just a no DQ thing? Or is it the standard no DQ thing? Did they go with the last man standing or the I Quit? Because we just saw a John Cena I Quit match.
I've got one for you. And it's not going to happen, but this is the one I would like to see. First Blood.
I'm Vincent Kennedy McMahon, damn it! We have to keep this shit PG!
That would be a good idea, but you're right, it's not going to happen.
No, it'll be a tables match or something. Something boring.
I think it should be an Iron Man match.
Ooh. Yes, I agree. I think that Iron Man match would actually be perfect for that.
The whole idea that who can really beat the other one, go the distance. Cena says he's a veteran. Owens has been doing it longer, technically, I think.
Yep, that sounds good.
Possibly
so here's how that happens.
Even though we have Battleground in between.
Owens, here's how that Iron match, how the Iron Man match goes down. I remembered how to speak English. Here's what happens. So Owens beats him for the first one, and then the second one, Cena gets a STF on Owens and gets him to tap out, and then Owens beats the ever-living shit out of Cena for all but the remaining 10 seconds of the 60 minutes, and finally, within the last 10 seconds of it, Cena dumps Owens, gets him in the fireman's FU pin. Cena wins. Overcome the odds. It's fantastic. Fanfare, confetti from the ceiling.
I think it works better if you don't have Owens tap out, because it kind of gets into this idea that, the defining feud for any emerging heel is Cena. We saw what just happened to Rusev, so, now that I'm thinking about it, you just debuted Owens against Cena, so if you see Owens tapping out to Cena, then isn't that pretty much it for him by usual standards?
Well, that doesn't matter.
It kills things.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Tap out. A tap out is quite possibly the most important.
But Cena has to look strong.
But
he does.
But he should.
Isn't his feud to look strong in? This isn't his feud. The first match proved that.
Every feud is the feud for Cena to look strong in. Maybe not at first, because, overcome the odds. And you can't overcome the odds if you're not getting wrecked, for the first part.
While trying to be realistic in the idea that John Cena can't just keep losing against Kevin Owens. But Kevin Owens also cannot just lose against Cena. That's where I craft the idea that Owens gives up on this second match. He realizes he was going to get beat. He goes berserk with the chair and everything like he has in his NXT matches, not necessarily because he was going to get beat, but that's just what he does. And then if you do an Iron Man, that's where the window of opportunity is for Cena to kind of get that final point wherein, Owens can still kind of... It's that subtle unspokenness of, well, Owens got disqualified one fall and lost that point, or, Cena got the last minute point, but it doesn't necessarily mean Owens couldn't keep fighting, or this and that,
what I think will happen, to be perfectly honest, if it does go to the Iron Man stage, it would turn out to be, they would be quite even, They'd probably split 2 falls each, 1 disqualification by Owens, and then, a Cena pin after an attitude adjustment. Owens would get a pin after a pop-up powerbomb, and he would also get another pin, towards the beginning of the match. But Cena looks like he's going to overcome, and then it'll be Owens doing something terribly heelish and crazy at the end, and then finally hitting the package pile driver onto Cena, and then pinning him clean.
Well, gentlemen, I can honestly tell you one thing about all these predictions. We have put a hell of a lot more thought into this match than the incandescent whack-a-moles at WWE Creative.
I think so.
How old is Owens' kid again? Do you know?
Like 4.
Because I would almost have him factor into the match.
Oh, Jesus Christ! 2 minutes. He is not Dominic. He is not Dominic.
No. Well, maybe I'm overthinking it now, but where Owens kind of puts his own kid in the line of fire, and
oh my God, that would be terrible. But we got 2 minutes to talk about 2 matches. We're extending. We're extending this, and we're probably going to go into the overrun here.
All right, well, listen,
5 more minutes out of the clock.
It's the Money in the Bank ladder match. There's only 2 people that can really win it.
Right,
Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns.
What? Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns versus Kane versus Randy Orton versus Kofi Kingston, Neville, Sheamus, and Dolph Ziggler in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Your usual suspects.
They're not going to give it to Kane again. They're not going to give it to Kofi in his state. It would be a waste to give it to Orton or Sheamus again. Neville is a really dark horse, but it's really too soon for him, I think. He's the Jack Swagger pick, basically.
At this point, because he needs some sort of... He's definitely going to spot monkey with Kingston in this match, but if they do decide to pull the trigger and give him the case, he ain't touching that title until next year.
At the very least,
Again, yeah. Or maybe in October and November.
If they give him the case, I think he would lose whatever match he ended up having.
Yes, I agree.
Or he would lose the case.
Or lose the case.
I think we would agree. All right, who wants it?
Somebody heelish would challenge him and say, you don't deserve that case, and then they'd have the match. The heel would cheat and get the case, and then lord it over him for a little bit, and then go after the title. And depending on who it was, maybe win. My say would be either Reigns or Ziggler. It's probably going to be Reigns. Ziggler
I would argue that Reigns doesn't need it. I would argue that Reigns doesn't need it, but Reigns is going to cash it in at SummerSlam during the pay-per-view. So during the match, just the way that Seth did it back at WrestleMania, exactly the same way.
Okay, so there is some love out here for the idea of Ziggles picking up the briefcase.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we all like to see that, but we're just realists and know that it's probably not going to happen. And even if it did, hasn't he won it before and then lost his match or whatever?
Yeah, he won against Del Rio.
Did he?
But then he got injured, and it was a pretty short reign. Is the
right?
That's why I didn't remember it.
But I'm actually going to agree with Gunnar and say that Ziggler would be better suited for the case. Roman's going to get a title match no matter what happens. I think Ziggler could do more with the case, frankly, as he did before.
And now he's got Oksana with him, so...
Yes, Oksana. You get the wrong Eastern European there, buddy.
Gesundheit.
Well, it's Eastern Euro trash. It's all the same to me.
All right,
thank you just much.
How about the main event of Rollins and Ambrose in a ladder match for the title?
Rollins retains because there's no way in fuck they're giving Dean Ambrose the title.
I'm going to make a bold prediction and flip-flop on my previous prediction and say that Roman Reigns will win the case, and then he will turn this match into a triple threat in which he climbs the ladder and gets the title. And spears Ambrose in the process.
I disagree. I like I like the other situation where it's Lesnar against, or it's Lesnar and Rollins, and they do the exact same finish that they did at WrestleMania at SummerSlam, only with Rollins and Reigns reversed.
Oh, they can't be that stupid.
Or,
that actually would be pretty. That I mean,
if you don't want Ambrose in the picture. If you don't want Ambrose in the picture, what I would do if I wanted Ambrose in the picture, I'd have a win here. I'd have Ambrose win, and then Battleground. You know, they're having Lesnar come back, so you have it be a schmoz at Battleground. You know, have the Architect, you know, Mr. Seth Rollins go jump in the ring there and do some crazy shit. You know, blah 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 blah, and then between them all. Yeah, I get it, fantasy booking and whatnot, but at the same time, I think that very good chance.
Just one last thing, since I forgot about it on the news. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, let people have fun for once in your goddamn life. So what? Paulie was talking about a WrestleMania match.
We know. I want some ice cream.
You know, I haven't had cookies and cream for a long, long time.
That's because you don't deserve cookies and cream.
Well, you just have to include the cookies is all.
You know what we should do? We should go to the...
Alright, let's go. Time for the ratings, and that's Yankum's job.
Alright, so Impact... the first Wednesday night episode of Impact on Destination America drew 297,000 viewers. That's down 28% from 413,000 that watched the final Friday night broadcast. Ring of Honor's premiere before did 163,000. That's not fantastic either. SmackDown drew 2.35 million viewers. That's down from 2.574 million the year before, the week before, and Monday's Raw drew a 2.59, considering a recent pattern of poor ratings and the writing in the format every 2 or 3 weeks.
And with the birthdays, it's that gesture.
Birthdays for this week. On the 9th, we have none other than Dan the Beast Severin and the original uncle to Sabu, the original Sheik. No birthdays on the 10th, but on the 11th, we have Mike Enos and the legendary Magnum TA. Anyway, on the 12th, we have Fred Curry, Hector Garza, Mark Henry, Jerry Lynn, and I think the name is Terry Taylor. Of course, I could be misreading it and saying Red Rooster. But on the 13th, we have Jacques Rougeau, none other than Vincent, and Big Otto Waz. Big Otto Waz. I don't suppose
Wands.
Like Ottawa. He's from Ottawa, Canada.
No.
Big Otto Wands.
So he's not from Canada. Okay, well, one can be mistaken. Anyway, on the 14th, we have the legendary Bruiser Brody and Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. Finishing out on the 15th, we have Brad Armstrong, Scott Norton, and Chuck Palumbo.
I'd just like to stop you right there, Manchester. I would like you to look at the name again. It's Otto Vons. Otto Vons.
Otto.
What possible? What possible?
Well,
what?
There's a W there, not a V.
You pronounce it as a V because he's Austrian, you mongoloid.
What? How do you know? How do we automatically know these things? I mean,
we don't. We look at Wikipedia.
W.
It's not that hard to figure out.
I think the
it isn't.
Joke would have been better.
Does it sound?
He is not Canadian. There is no Canadian there. He never lived Canadian.
He's Austrian. You know what? This is how we solve it.
And now it is time for This Week in Wrestling with Omega BR.
Yes, this week in wrestling history, circa 1961, where Luther Lindsay and Bing Ki Lee defeat Bill Savage and Tito Copa for the NWA Pacific Northwest Tag Team titles. Jump to 1988, where Atlantis defeats Kung Fu for the NWA World Middleweight title in Mexico City, Mexico, ending Kung Fu's second reign. And in 1998, David C. defeats Nick Dinsmore to win the NWA Ohio Valley Heavyweight title in Jeffersonville, Indiana. That was This Week in Wrestling History.
Alright, let's do some happy trails here. Happy trails to Scott Hall, who tweeted that he was entering a detox facility stemming from the New Jersey event incident. He is currently seeking treatment, and I heard that he's doing better. And happy trails to China. A couple of residents this week on the happy trails. China, who's opened a Kickstarter documentary about her returning to the U.S. to reunite with friends and family and get her life back on track. As of now, it's just under $1,000 of its $10,000 goal. Congratulations, China. What should we watch this week in wrestling? Yankum DDS.
Well, I didn't watch Raw this week, so I'm gonna watch Raw. You guys probably watched Raw, so I'm gonna go ahead and challenge you yet again to look around, Google if you have to, find a local indie wrestling promotion, and go to their show. Even if you have to drive like 45 minutes to an hour, it's totally worth it. I mean, it's fun going into arenas at WWE shows, and there's all the people around. But it's somehow even better going into a cramped bingo hall or high school gym and just being up close and actually watching the wrestling, as opposed to wondering why the person behind you won't stop their child from kicking the back of your seat. That you paid over $100 for.
He's not bitter or anything.
You think?
I will smack your children. I swear to God.
It's funny. Alright, Jester, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Well, I'm not going to go to my video collection this week because I want everybody who, if you haven't seen it yet, and yes, that includes me because I completely forgot, but go on the wilds of the internet and see the debut episode on Destination America of Ring of Honor Wrestling. You know, this is where the talent is coming from, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody knows that now, including WWE, who has been trying to filch talent from Ring of Honor as if they were ECW back in the 90s. So watch where the new stars will be coming from and see if you like them.
Omega, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Well, considering the top 40 for Tough Enough was revealed, and Big O was one of them, I'd say you could check him out on the YouTube. It's coming up, for example, there's a match between him and QT Marshall from Pro Wrestling Syndicate that I believe would probably be pretty decent.
And I am going to suggest you get on YouTube, because this moment is only on YouTube, and I've suggested this moment before the first time that I saw it. It is a great, great match between Excalibur and Owen Steen. Now you might be wondering, who's Owen Steen? Just Google Owen Steen's first victory, and you will understand everything. Alright, I think that's it.
You will understand everything.
He's so cute. Alright. Yeah, I figured as much. Alright, we're ending the show here. So thank y'all for listening. We appreciate it. You can check us out, smarksnark.com, twitter.com/smarksnark, facebook.com/smarksnark, smarksnark@gmail.com if you want to get a hold of us. You know, that kind of thing. You know, I'm doing a little more tweeting these days. Yeah, not so much, but we will, we will talk to you, I guess, next week. We've been doing these Wednesday shows lately, and we're going to be doing them for the foreseeable future, so you can just check that out. You can just rearrange your schedule a little bit and check us out live, or on the YouTubes or on the Spreaker thing. And we have a phone number that I almost forgot to give, and that one is 812-408-9666. 812-408-WOO. Woo! Alright, thank you very much for listening, and we wish you well in your past, present, and future endeavors.
Tomorrow night, I will be interacting with Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner. Pray for me.
See if you can get him to say our show sucks.
I'll just give him the name.
Good night, Graz.
Hello, kids. My name is Super Blizzard. I was brought before you here today to help instruct you in the fine art of language, or, to be more precise, spelling. I'm being assisted today by Mr. Damian Sandow on vocals. I'm going to play guitar. If there's no further questions, we can begin. All right. D is for deliberate speech, the pure and honest way, never speaking